Christmas. Let's draw something for it. So my idea is last time I actually did something for Halloween, in case you didn't see it, and it involved my Arlathia characters. So I don't even know where it's at. I was going to show y'all. Oh, here it is. So here's a sketch I did for it. Okay, I already had the idea in my head, and again, I have the idea in my head as well. So I thought we should sit here and sketch it out as well, and then go on that process. So I have this pen. Oh, and these little guys right here are in my next store update for January. I'm making little frogs. So cute. Okay. So let's see. So my idea was I wanted there to be kind of like a sleigh ride, pretty much. So and at nighttime I think would make sense. So the problem is that I'm going to be doing mutations. So like my Arlathia characters, they have what I call mutations. So because they're anthropomorphic, it's actually these guys. Not that, that's my crest. But this is Arlathia, my main character. Celestin, this little guy is Jojo, Kanan, and Myra. So they all have, so these are the anthro forms, pretty much like the normal forms, and then I have mutation forms. So my idea was, so Arlathia has two forms. She has a regular hedgehog mutation and then a dragon mutation. So my idea was to have the hedgehog mutation, which I call green, pulling the sleigh, but she has a really long tail, so it wouldn't really make sense. So now I had an idea to have the sleigh kind of just coming off of her back versus her pulling it. So I thought maybe, because green's actually a very giant mutation. She's bigger than like a regular one, because in all of my stories, like my Arlathia story, I have different races and they're all different sizes. So green's mutation is actually really big. I need to pull out a book. Actually, it's William O'Connor's Dragon book. I'll pull it out here in a second. So I'm going to use that for the size chart to actually figure out how big she needs to be. But for this, my idea was to kind of have her jumping. That's why I was like, it'd be cool to have her pull the sleigh, but the tail just wouldn't make sense. So, but I was like, oh, we could have her doing this down below, right? So I thought have her mouth open, have this here, Rudolph's nose, then maybe a band for the antlers. I just thought this would be fun. And then kind of give her like how the Jingle Bell horses do. So, but for this, so I'd probably have two bands here, because there would be like a connector piece, and the sleigh would actually just sit up here like that. Obviously the toy bag is the idea, because I'm like, that would make sense. So it'll just be kind of, so if she was, I don't know, we'll probably put like stars or whatever, and then maybe a big ass tree down here with lights and such. But I'm also gonna have lights kind of hanging off of her as well. I don't know, I was trying to just make it fun. But then the guys would be up here, probably in like Santa hats or something. I think I'll have Myra here with her wings. No, she's got her hands raised because it's fun. So that was the idea with this, and I could have little Jojo kind of hanging out or something. He's gonna be really small with this, so these guys are actually gonna be like super small because how big she is a thing. So the main focus will be on green, but then I'll have them there probably more as outlines, like colored those. So like Kanan will have orange, Celestin will be white, Myra will just stay red, and then Jojo will stay that lighter green. And that's probably what I'm gonna end up doing, just to help kind of make the colors, but again, they're not like the main focus necessarily. It's mostly just green in the background is what I want the focus to be, and probably the sleigh, but that's about it. So characters. All right. So that's kind of where we're at, so that way I know. So we'll have stars and lights. All right, so let me grab the book so I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, so it's his Dracopedia book, which I've had this thing forever, and it's dragons, so why wouldn't I have it? So let me, because then I have this thing back here, the size chart, which is what I was using for my own dragons. Right, so I have this down here. So I'm wondering, I almost wonder if it would make sense for her to be 50 feet to the Asian dragon, but maybe not. Because in my writer's story, the regular dragons are 50 feet, but because in that Hydra's 30. I mean, because the Arlathia characters are a little bit smaller than 6 feet. They're probably like 5 feet, I suppose. So, actually, maybe the 50 would make sense, or the 100, maybe 75. Kind of meet in the middle. Because everybody else has mutations too, which I think their mutations I'll probably have at the 30 feet mark. I think, so then maybe it would make sense for green to be 50. Maybe twice their size, so I could do her 60. I think might make sense. Because this is the size of my regular dragons in my writer's story. This would be the size of the Rhytons, which are like the bad guys. And then Arlath, who is the main dragon character, and the Hive Leads, which are kind of like the main bosses, they're 150 feet, so they're a little bit smaller than that one. So, but I think it would make sense for me to stick with her being 50. I think would make most sense. So I think I'm going to do that. Okay, but now let us do this quick sketching. And then I'm actually going to turn this so I don't hit the spirals. All right. So I'm probably going to have Green's head. I think I'm just going to do this landscape-wise. I feel like that would make the most sense. So I actually don't draw Green too often. She's probably one of my favorites, though. But it's like, just at the moment, I don't have a reason to really draw her at this time. She will pop up in the comic eventually, but we're going to give her a little bit of love today. Oh, I also need to put Merry Christmas somewhere. Maybe Merry Christmas or something. We'll see. Okay. I might need to drag that down some more. We'll see. Okay, so all right, I got the bag. There's my people with their hats going. Okay. So I think this I'm gonna need to probably erase and push down some more to make it look like she is kind of taken off, I suppose. So we'll see when I get to that port. And then little JoJo will be kind of chilling up here. Okay, because I'm going to make this like super simple. So I'm really just going to draw this area and then kind of just a random ass town. And then we'll just have lights kind of spread about. I think is all I'm literally going to do for this. And I'm just going to make it, mostly the main focus will be on just them. I'm not really going to try much. I might put some snow. And then we'll have... See, I don't know. Maybe... But I need something up here. It's just blank. So maybe I should just do the Merry Christmas up there. And then I'll get rid of that. I don't know. Or do Merry and then Christmas. Maybe I should do that and just put the Merry, have the Christmas, and then we'll just do snow. Alright, well, that's a good start. So I'm gonna leave it there and I'm gonna take off so I can start working on some more of this. Oh, but that's the really awful chicken scratch at the moment. Alright, so pretty much for this whole drawing, I just wanted something a little bit Christmassy, a little kind of fun, a little silly, I suppose. So I want to keep going on with like my Arlathia characters because they're my main guys. So I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense to just kind of have them for the holidays too, and just like doing different things, like stuff I don't normally get to do. So one of the ideas I had was to do green because she's so big, and I thought it would be kind of fun to just have her kind of pulling everybody along. Because originally what my idea was for her to actually like have a sleigh on the ground pulling it like a, you know, like one of the horses. That was the original idea. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, I can't, I'm like, it's going to be weird because she has such a long tail and because she's really big. So, because I was like, I could have the sleigh on the ground. Her tail will be like in between everybody, I suppose, kind of laying on top of the sleigh some. Which I guess is fine, but like whenever I do this, I do have quills like underneath her body. Like as you can see here, the little things that are coming out of underneath her tail and stuff. So I was like, well, it might cut up everything because they're very sharp. So I was like, I don't know about that. So that's when I kind of got the idea to have the sleigh like sitting on top of her, I suppose, like on the handles and whatnot. I'm like, it's kind of dumb, but I'm like, to me, it's the only thing that really, really makes sense to actually kind of make this work because of how weird it is. But, you know, that's just the way it is. So improvise, you know, kind of fill it in where possible. So that's what I did. Me adding the lights onto her was something that was kind of an afterthought, but I thought it would be fun just to make her a little bit more festive because I did give her the deer antlers and like the Rudolph nose, which I thought was kind of fun. And I have little Jojo sitting up on her head. I actually almost missed him twice when I was trying to color him. I almost forgot about him, and then I saw him, and I'm like, oh, I need to color him in. But, like, with the other characters, like with Myra, Kanan, and Celestin, I was like, well, they need to be up there in the sleigh, kind of having fun. I forgot to put Santa hats on them. I remembered afterwards, and I was like, damn it, because that would have made sense. So they just have on, like, Santa-type coats or something. I don't really know. But I just wanted to have it, like, super simple. Like, I wanted them to be the main focus. Like, yeah, there's some snow falling, and I have a dark city in the background. Like, they're about to go have some fun. And yes, Green is jumping off of a cliff, but because she has the air element, she's actually able to use it to kind of fly and stuff. She could turn into the dragon, but I'm like, the dragon wouldn't have been much fun because the dragon's pretty big. So it just kind of made sense for me to just do Green and just kind of have Green pulling him along. It was just fun, and I don't really get to draw Green that much. Green's actually one of my favorites. So I was like, I just wanted to put Green in there just to kind of showcase her some. Because she's not... Because, like, I draw dragons all the time. So I'm like, me having Green in here is just something a little bit different and a little more fun. So that's what I just wanted to do instead. So that's why we just kind of changed it up. And just had her in there instead. Which I still think it works. Like, to me it does. I still think it makes sense. And it just kind of adds on that, like, little bit of a fun element for Christmas. You know, because that's what Christmas is. Christmas is meant to be fun and joyful. And that's what this was. So, obviously, tons of fun. And doing my little guys, I was kind of torn on how I actually wanted to do them. So, I kind of figured I would still make them small, but I would add in some of their detail. Obviously, they're not going to be, like, super detailed. Green's actually more detailed than they are. But I was like, I still need to do something with them. Because originally I was thinking about just having them kind of like an outline of them and not do anything else with them. But then I figured they're still like big enough. I can actually put in a little bit of detail. Kanan was actually probably the worst one because he does have stripes. Because he's a greyhound, and I believe one of their color patterns was brindle. Okay, I'm not going to figure out how to do brindle, so I just made him to have stripes. Because to me, in a way, it looked like he had the main undercolor and like stripes on top, so that's what he is. But he was the worst one because of his stripes. But even then, I figured out how to do them like really quickly, so it wasn't like that much of a problem. Coloring in the little light bulbs, I had to figure that out. Because I put down like the lightest color first, and then I just started, and then I did the same thing with the pencil, just put down the lightest, and like the base color is what I actually, put inside the lights to kind of give like, I don't know what the terms are, but what you see inside the light bulb. That's what I was just trying to do, just to kind of help a little bit. And even with the way I colored her, I was trying to pretend like the lights were on, which technically they were. I didn't make it like super obvious, but I did some like coloring around them with like the highlight color to kind of give that idea. So like it kind of worked. Like it's something I definitely need to work on because that is not something I am used to. But this was also just a fun experiment again, and just doing something different. Like I even gave her little jingle bells as like the collar, like the harness. She technically does have on a collar, but it's the part of the harness. Because I was just trying to give it like more of that Christmassy kind of feel and make her almost like a jingle horse, I suppose. Minus the antlers, but again, it's just the antlers were kind of fun because the deer pull the sleigh. And whenever I think of Christmas, like one of the animals I think of is deer because of like Santa and the deer and everything. So I was like, well, it makes sense for her to have the deer antlers. And I just want to give her the Rudolph nose because I thought, why not? I thought it was cute and it was fun. But it was kind of an experiment. Like the shading was definitely probably a little odd. But I was thinking, well, with the lights being on, she's going to have highlights bouncing off of her. Her fur is going to be highlighted. I'm like, I was trying to think about like where the lights would be, especially if she was surrounded by a whole bunch of like lights around her and everything. So I was trying to figure that part out. So it was just interesting all the way around. But I think overall it actually turned out pretty okay. Like, to be fair, she's probably a little bit dark, but I was trying to like think without showing it that obviously it is nighttime. So I'm like, them being dark does make sense. And I was trying to give the lighting because of the bulbs, like even in the snow that she's on. Again, I'm just trying to think of the lighting. That's why with the sleigh and everything, it's kind of that underlighting. Because I figured that would make the most sense. Yeah, I didn't really try on these snowballs. Or the snow, but whatever. But I was trying to do what made the most sense with the lighting. Because to me, it make sense for it to be like this underlighting, as you can see. Which I thought actually kind of turned out pretty cool. Especially like on the sleigh in the bag. I was like, it actually kind of turned out neat. Green was a little more interesting. I was also trying to give her like that fur texture she's supposed to have. But, like I was trying to do a couple different things here. So that's what we came up with. But the snow, I mostly kept it white and then I added in like some gray. I actually did a little bit of a cloud blue just to kind of give it some of a blue effect. Because to snow, if you look at it, it does kind of give off like a blue color sometimes. That's what I was trying to do, or like clouds or something. So that's what I was attempting to do here. But I use this light green, I believe it's chartreuse. I use it again just because of the light bulbs. I picked it because some of the light bulbs that are closer to the snow are the green ones. And obviously other ones are white, but the snow is already white. Like you're not really going to see much. So that's why I just went with that light green. Because I figured to me it just kind of made sense to do that. But yeah, so they're on their way to go deliver all the presents because they have this big ass bag. So they can go deliver it all to little kids and go have fun. So that's kind of what was going on here. But I just thought it would be just a fun little idea to kind of just create something for Christmas, because me doing holiday drawings are not something I do all the time, or even like seasonal drawings or whatever. It's just not something I normally do, but I figured I should start getting into it just to kind of go along and just, be merry and just do this. The letters I didn't do a whole lot with. I kind of, you'll see, I actually had to stop myself because I remembered what I was going to do. But for these, I just did the above lighting, and the Mary, I did the below lighting. So you'll kind of see how that turns out. Again, me thinking of the light bulbs, of where the lighting would go, and just to kind of add a little bit of something to the letters is what it was. But Green is super fast, so she's going to go around the world, and they're going to deliver all these presents. That was kind of the point. Again, it's just some fun little seasonal thing that I thought of, because I'm trying to do them more just to kind of get into the spirit of everything. I thought it would just be fun, and just for me to try some new things too, or just like different things if I'm not really used to it. Like me doing something like this isn't something I normally do, like with the sleigh and stuff, and just add in a non-living object and just trying to come up with something. So that's kind of what it was, and just having the words in there, just to add a little bit of stuff up in there, just to make it kind of fun. That's what this all was. It was just for funsies. But we'll see what happens next year if I come up with a different idea, or if I want to redraw this one. I don't know yet, so we'll see. I probably shouldn't know yet because it's a year away, like exactly a year, but you know how it goes. So we'll see how I evolve over time as well with these, because I am also kind of curious to see what else I can come up with. I'll probably stick to these Still Simple drawings, because again, they're not meant to be anything like super crazy. They're more or less there just for me to have some fun with. But we'll see how they turn out over time. Because I did do Halloween, if you've missed that one. So Halloween was the first one I did. And now I did this one. So, and then I did do something for Thanksgiving, but I did a little minis comic of mine. I believe it was my Miss is what I did. So that was my Thanksgiving contribution. Here's Christmas. And then New Year's will actually be coming up next week for the next video, which I haven't started. Because I just came back from a cruise, and then I had to work on this still. So, I already had an idea for that one, so we'll see. And hopefully it'll be pretty quick, because the coloring shouldn't be too awful because of what I want to do. So I guess gotta plan that out, and we'll work on that one together in the next video, because that will be worked on probably Thursday and Friday for sure. Because I have to get it done by next Wednesday, and I have to work and get my little store updated for my next shop update, because I'm going to have frogs, a spring dragon, and a stegosaurus involved in this one. And I'm hoping to get these little painted wooden brachiosaurs I'm working on too. So I just have a lot I got to do in the next couple days, and the problem is that I have a full-time job. So that's where most of my time is going to be until I can do this. I have to go there today, and I have to work. So I can't work on anything. I'll work on a little wood brachiosaurs, but after that, I can't work on anything until tomorrow or tonight, depending on how late I want to stay up. But, that's just how it is. What you gonna do? But at least this one I was able to get up, because I made a goal that I wanted. I actually was able to finish it Monday, and I was happy. Because that way I had to put the video together, and it wouldn't take, I think the drawing part's probably what takes the longest. So I was like, as long as that got done in a really good time, I would be fine. And I managed to get it done. So I said, yes, I was so happy. Because when I came back, I started working on it Sunday night, and then I finished it Monday morning, and I was happy. Because I finished it right before I had to go to work. So I was like, this is fantastic. So I'm just glad I managed to get it done. So hopefully I can do it again with New Year's. But New Year's will probably be a little more simple than this, just because of what I have in mind. I don't want to spoil it yet. So if you want to watch, you'll have to come back and wait till next week. You'll have to wait till next Wednesday. But I thought her little antlers were cute. I actually tried to figure out how I was going to put the antlers on. But then I was like, well, I guess I could have it as a headband. Because there's a particular way their quills work. That's why I have the lights going through her quills. Because I figured out a way I can make all this work. It's not, obvious, but in my head it makes sense. So like for her, I have a headband. So the headband is actually in between the quills because of the way they can move. Like they can do whatever they want. They can have them all poked out, halfway out, all the way down, whatever they need them for. So with this, the quills can move so that way they could put the headband on green to let it sit there for the antlers. So I know it's in like a darker area behind the ear, but I did put that band there to kind of show they're not just sitting there, like they're actually connected. As for the nose, there is a very thin black string that I had to put in. I drew it around her muzzle, so it's actually like in between her teeth and her mouth. Because when I was doing this, I'm like, well, how's this gonna stick? So that was the idea I came up with. It was just to have it on a very short string. So you can't tell because the string is on the black portion of her muzzle, but that's what it is. Even if you can't, I guess it just sticking on there is fine too. That's just what I was thinking whenever I was doing this, because that's what I tend to think of when I draw certain things is how does this actually, like in real life, how would this actually work? So that's just kind of how I came up with this stuff. So I don't know. I mean, it's definitely fun because it's like creative liberty, I suppose, and like not everything has to make sense, but I'm weird and I want it to make sense. You know, so if I have to explain it, it's easier to explain or something. I don't know. That's just me. That's just how I work personally. So just because it looks like I did something without thinking about it, I actually thought about it before I did it. And that's probably why it makes it look like I didn't even try. Because I have concepts in my head of how certain things work. Even though this is something that's just like really short and quick and probably like, you know, won't really happen again for a while. It had to make sense, and it does. So, that's just me. Not everybody like that, but that's just how I think. So, that's just what I came up with. But here is the ending. This is what she looks like. So again, it's kind of dark, but it's just because it's, you know, technically it's dark outside with the lights. But I just want to thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys all have a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you in the next video for New Year's. Bye!